art galleries, paradigms, and community conventions. All that and more on today's episode of On the Bubble podcast. My name's Josh. This episode is powered in part by the Gonna Geek Network. Check out the website, gonnageek.com. Today we're talking community. And without any further ado, let's get into the podcast.
I'm Chris Farrell from the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast, a wacky weekend morning show, part of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're checking out right now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and the opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other awesome geeky shows over at gonnageeknetwork.com.
So guys, when I said we're going to talk about community today, we're actually talking about the NBC show Community, which is hilarious in my opinion, and a show that, although it got a bit of a run, I thought probably deserved more, and that's what we're talking about today. So as news of a potential cancellation and the show being on the bubble during season 5 became more widespread, a really big fan action kicked in around the show Community. And there was obviously a big digital element. This was 2015 sort of time frame, so the online element of fan campaigns had certainly taken prominence by that point, and there was less and less physical stuff happening. But today what I wanted to focus on is what I think is two very special physical, real-world fan campaign executions around the show Community that not only stood out to me, but I think are extra unique and made the entire fan campaign extra special. So the first one was a community-focused art exhibition in Los Angeles, and it was aptly titled 6 Seasons and a Movie, which for fans of the show was very meta and also a very cool tie-in to a piece of dialogue that actually stretched right back to the season 2 episode, Paradigms of Human Memory. So the writers and the cast and everyone around the show, they'd planted in the minds of the community, and I may say that a few times today, I'm sorry, fans of the show in their minds, that our goal as the creators is 6 seasons of this show and a movie. So that concept translated into an art exhibition that, and we've talked about this before, got headlines. It got attention. It got extra press. It re-engaged and rejuvenated part of the community. That's still happening. People still want that show. I love that show. I'm going to get on board with that. I'm going to go see some art. I'm going to go take a picture, etc., etc., etc. So amazing work. And equally as amazing to me was the second piece of physical campaigning that happened around the show Community, and that was the community-focused convention, CommuniCon. So I'm putting this out there, and feel free to reach out to me online at Joshua C. Liston in all the places. If there was a title belt holder for greatest fan convention name, CommuniCon's got to be right up there. If not the world champion, definitely the number one contender. So I'd love to hear what you guys think is the best fan convention name, but CommuniCon is my number one. When I was reminded that that existed, I thought, oh, if I had the cash and I lived in the locality to attend that, I would have went just for the name, even if I didn't like the show, just to say I was at CommuniCon, the reigning decade-long champion of convention names. So I just wanted to give a shout out to superfan and corporate lawyer Jillian Machete, who in 2012 actually founded CommuniCon as a way to not only grow community around the show, but also to engage more deeply with other superfans of the show. So just a shout out to Machete for getting that done and keeping it going, and then also allowing that platform to integrate with the Save Community fan campaigning and elevate the entire experience for everyone involved. So I'm happy. I'm always happy to get to share with you guys when fan campaigning works. We're sticking with something even years after it feels like there's no chance that something might come of it, or there'll be an adaptation or a continuation of a TV show you love, that it can work. So on September 30th, 2022, both USA Today and Variety reported that Community will get their 6 seasons and a movie via the network Peacock. So in 2025, guys, there's going to be a movie for Community. The campaigning worked. It's the better part of 9 years, I think, from memory since the show finalized in its original version in season 5. So we're talking right now, when I'm speaking this into the microphone, and I'm just catching up on all of these articles that have come out more recently, it's mid-February 2024, and we're looking at a 2025 release of a movie. So it's going to be 10 years by that point. And one thing that never happened was the community never stopped pushing to get themselves the movie. We want the second half of that dialogue from Paradigms of Human Memory fulfilled. You've got to do it. We're here for it. We're going to keep pushing until it happens. The cast and crew have been on board in different ways the entire time, which has just kept the fuel on that fan fire. It's been a symbiotic thing that I've tracked through the fan communities online that entire period. And to see it happening, and I'm not a super fan of the show, but if I was, I'd be so freaking excited. Not only are we getting the thing we fought for so long, but also to know that when things touch people creatively in a way that it causes community between everyone involved on the fan side and the creator side, and it becomes one fantastic symbiotic blob of awesomeness, that blob doesn't have to just dry out and die because some person in an office who has no interest beyond the numbers working so they can make their quarterly bonus, that person's decision, that short-term decision, doesn't always have to affect how creativity lives and blooms and spreads in the world. So it's amazing on two levels. And once again, I'm freaking excited, mostly about that second level, because now that I've been tracking fan campaigns for about 9 years now, this is the first fan campaign that I've come across where I couldn't see in the timeline where hope for a renewal or a continuation died. And long-term listeners will know my favorite show of all time is Terminator, Sarah Connor Chronicles. And there was a point, for me it felt like maybe around 2013, where there was a hope is lost moment, where fans of the show had to accept that this beautiful thing, this unique piece of television, is never going to have a continuation. And to see the members of the community never stop pushing and never stop engaging with the cast, and that the cast continued to reciprocate, it was a beautiful thing. And hopefully more fandoms and more casts and crews and creators can push for a decade to get their thing, the closure or the finalization that they want. So well done, guys. Thank you for listening. I just have to share something quickly before we go, guys. I've had 2 attempts at recording this already. The first one I didn't like. The second one, and I hate talking about things you'll never hear, but I need to share this. The second episode, which was recorded today, but earlier today, I think was probably the best podcast I've ever done. At least it felt incredible. So I'm probably carrying some level of emotion into this episode because I'm disappointed that the other one, my tech died. First time ever a particular piece of tech has ever let me down. So where I'm going with that is this episode in and of itself, I had to campaign myself for 90 minutes to even sit down again and record it. I had to make myself want to do it because I had lost a tiny bit of hope about an hour ago that this show would ever happen again. That's how disappointed I was that the other recording didn't work. And I want to thank you guys if you stuck around to the end, because you're why I do this. If I can share a little bit of excitement or fandom or allow you to feel a little bit better about really loving a TV show like the way people love an athlete or the way people love a car or a brand, I've done my job, and that makes me happy. So I'll talk to you soon. My name's Josh. Once again, if you've got a title belt contender for greatest convention name, so we're talking TV fandom type conventions here, at Joshua C. Liston on all the socials. Thank you for letting me go on my little Terminator emotional journey there, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.